I'm Hani, pilot here at Aldinga Airfield. Been here for about 16 years now. Started learning to fly in 2009. Had a instructional lesson on my 16th of December, which was my birthday in 2009, and then got addicted to it. Something I've always wanted to do, really since my aunt used to take me down to the airfield. Back home in the United Kingdom, we used to sit down and watch the planes landing, sit back on the grass, watch the planes go overhead. It used to be a really awesome thing to do. But yeah, sitting in this carbon cub, this is probably the last plane that I've learnt to fly. Really wanted to get my tailwheel endorsement, which allows me a lot of freedom. I guess a lot of people ask why. Really, it's more about freedom for me. It's really a stress reset. It allows me to focus in the cockpit. I'm really focused on the flying when I'm in that plane. It really is a good mental reset for me, and I really do enjoy the flying and sharing that love of aviation with people. You know, the one thing that I'm going to say about aviation is probably, you know, it's always a learning journey, right? We're always learning. And if you stop learning, that's probably a problem, right? Because we're always learning from things we're doing, whether we're in the cockpit, whether we're outside of the cockpit, talking to friends, talking to other pilots. You know, we're always learning through a journey in our life, right? So it's really critical that we ask questions, you know, and for me, having mentors throughout my life in my professional career and in the aviation career, it's really important. So from a safety perspective, you know, one thing I have learned going flying with someone previously was we went for a fly, and I believe I was the co-pilot, and we were flying. I think it may have been just a Strathalbyn, very close and local to us, and got a call from a friend who said, "Look, were you flying this morning?" I said, "Yeah, I was up with somebody. We noticed a bit of a vapor trail trailing your plane," and I was like, "Oh, what could possibly cause that?" So I'm wondering, okay, vapor trail off the wing, okay, there's the clear sky, VFR, and I'm just like, okay, all right. Then I just go, there's a light bulb moment. I'm like, uh-oh, we refueled that plane before we took off. And lo and behold, someone had forgotten to put the fuel cap back on the plane's wing. So the fuel was leaking out the top of the aircraft, causing the vapor trail. So yes, that is a very interesting lesson to learn for somebody who's flying. Always make sure you're triple checking, double checking everything you're doing. Refueling, your checks checks when you're checking a plane as a pre-flight, making sure you do everything. Make sure you're thorough, because you'll easily get distracted when you're on the ground by all sorts of variables. So when you're here, when you're doing your pre-flights, when you're doing your fueling, when you're doing your post-fuel checks, make sure you do that. It's really important.
So what did you guys do then? Like the fuel leaking on the top? Or you guys?
We didn't. It was a very short flight. The plane was fairly full of fuel, if I recall, so we didn't actually have an issue. We realised when we got to that destination, because the call came in before we got there. So we noticed that. But we also did notice on the instruments that the fuel had gone down significantly. It was like, there's something not right here. So when we got back down on the ground, we did evaluate. That's when we found out that the cap was off. So that was an interesting story. This episode of Aviator Diaries has been brought to you by Adelaide Aviation. Check out adelaideaviation.com.au.